I think there are three things you should look for in someone you vote for elected office. Three qualities you should look for. I've used these qualities to make my choices for all of my voting life, and I think they are more important in this election than ever before as I've looked at this great field of candidates. The first quality you need to look for is experience. In a community where most people have master's degrees, where most people are experts on a wide range of topics, we expect our elected officials to come with deep policy expertise and gravitas that goes with it so that they can be effective and so that they can properly represent our community. We expect our public officials to have some fight in them. We have high expectations in Alexandria and Arlington and Fairfax. High expectations for the quality of service the government provides, for the way government provides for everyone in the Commonwealth. And we want elected officials who will go to bat and have the backbone to fight for what matters so that everyone gets a chance to be successful in our communities. And lastly, politicians should have a story. They should have a reason why they're doing this, that they're going to fall back on when they face issues that they never thought of before. They should have a reason that they put themselves through the grueling parts of politics and the parts that aren't as much fun and they're tedious and tiresome and that cause them to kind of really have to kind of double down. You've got to have a story that keeps that fire in your stomach and make sure that you're going to be there to fight and take that experience and apply it. Julie has all three. And it's rare to find somebody who hits all three out of the park. And she does. On experience, Julie and I we started working on local government political campaigns in Alexandria, Democratic politics, almost 20 years ago. Julie's worked for basically every statewide campaign, and most local campaigns have happened in Democratic politics in Alexandria for the last 20 years. There is no candidate in this race who's done more for Democratic candidates in Alexandria, Arlington, and Fairfax than Julie. Julie has been chair of our Community Services Board. She has served on the boards of local nonprofits. She has done policy work professionally and as a volunteer at the state and national level across the country. There is no one running in this race who has deeper experience as it relates to policy on healthcare and mental health and kids and equality than Julie. No one. Lastly, and political experience. And I mentioned it, but I want to emphasize it. Because the folks who toil in the fields of Democratic politics do it because they are passionate and they care. And they don't usually do it for credit, and they don't do it for glory, and they don't do it for any kind of accolades. And Julie's been doing that for 20 years. She's been doing that hard work. And when someone who comes from that world decides they want to step out and take all of that experience that they've learned and apply it and serve all of us, we should give them the chance to do that. And I'm proud that Julie's been willing to stand up for this. Fight. You need candidates who can fight. And fight in Richmond is not just about giving big speeches. Fight in Richmond is not standing up and giving the big barn burner of a speech. That's part of it. But fight is also holding people to their feet to the fire in subcommittee meetings and committee meetings and knowing enough about the policy areas you care about that you will keep people on the defensive and force folks to face realities they may not like to face because they don't square with their ideology and they don't square with who they are or what their voters tell them they should. Julie has that fight. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about that. When Julie and I were serving on the Community Services Board in Alexandria, Julie was chair. And we were working to put a group home in this neighborhood in Alexandria, in Delegate. And it was for me kind of my walk through fire moment, like that taught me that you can deal with something really hard and come out successfully on the other side. We fought with the local neighborhood civic association, which I later became president of. We fought with the neighbors near where the group home got placed. We fought with the city council that had members who I greatly respect and are great friends of mine who asked Julie to step down from the Community Service Board for fighting to make sure folks had a chance to have a place to live and to participate in our community. Julie stood up to local officials, she stood up to neighbors, and she did it with grace and with the kind of style that you want, because it wasn't a style that turned people away. It was a style that brought people into the fold and helped them learn and appreciate and understand why she was fighting as strongly as she did. for me, that was really a moment in my political and civic life that I learned you can take on really hard issues, and if you have your facts right and you know what you're doing, you can make a difference and you can walk through fire. The person who taught me to walk through fire is Julie Jakopic. Julie Jakopic will walk through fire for the people that we care about the most, for the people who deserve that chance. They need someone in Richmond who will walk through fire with them, and Julie did. And lastly, you need someone who has a story. You know, why are you doing this? You know, you should ask any politician who calls you for money, why are you doing this? If they can't give you a good answer, boy, you better think about it. Because there's going to be moments when they need to have something to fall back on to keep them going. Julie's got that story. Just like me, she's raised by a single mom. She's put up with all sorts of family struggles that go with that, and been really the person in her family who kind of keeps everything together and keeps everyone together at times when it's not so easy. She's got family members now who are very young, in the audience over here, who deserve a chance to grow up in a society where they can be successful and they can achieve kind of regardless of what life throws at them. Julie's been through it all. She's been through the stuff that folks in Virginia live through every day. Folks in Alexandria in the 45th live through every day. She's been through it. And she does it with grace and with style and with a confidence that we should be proud of. We need someone with that kind of story in Richmond because that's the kind of person who can get things done.